So the drivers get released from the pre-grid. It's going to be probably one of the shortest grids I've talked through, but I'm going to lengthen it out a little bit because they're on a sighting and a formation lap. So after what was a very, very close qualifying session, all 5 drivers covered by less than 0.3 of a second. Was completed, all 7 done after 7 minutes. This, earlier on this afternoon, David Girush, 21, is on pole for both this and also the second heat a little bit later on. The second heat will be taking place at 16:53, provisionally full-time hit Germany, depending on any incidents, any delays, any stoppages. He is joined on the front row by the 180 Alexander Klugel, who put in a lap time of 48.462 seconds around this one. It was in the 38-meter circuit here. Vogelsbergring. Matthias Schulze, third place in the 150, 48.535. Nein Breitag, fourth, 48.631. Kenyon Washington, fifth in the 114. 48.669. That is your 5-strong grid. They're battling for bragging rights and for pride because the title has already been decided this season. So who will get the jump? Going through into the first corner. 7 minutes on the clock, plus an additional lap. The red lights are on the start gantry. Out of the final corner. They split and go into the tram lines. Revs rise, are we ready? And it's a good start. We are green and off and away. And Matthias Schulze has already slingshot past Alexander Klugel. Kenyon Washington past Nein Breitag, up into second and fourth, respectively, as the 4-5 carts are line astern. Washington's already sizing up and move on to Alexander Klugel. That's how impetuous he is, that youngster. But David Girush leading the way as they head through the mid part of the circuit for the first time of asking. 6.5 minutes still to go, plus an additional lap. Girush and Schulze. Then they have slightly gapped Alexander Klugel there. They've started to run with the ball. Well, they've grabbed the ball and they've run away with it. And Schulze is gunning for Girush. This is how close it's going to be, folks, all the way through the weekend. It is going to be like a cat and mouse game, isn't it? 1 lap completed. Girush now is across the line and is just under 0.2 ahead of Matthias Schulze, who's got a brilliant run coming through the first corner. As Nein Breitag gets past Kenyon Washington, I think, or might not have done, no. Washington is still in front of Breitag, but closed in on Alexander Klugel. But Matthias Schulze is trying to close in on David Girush as Klugel is in third. He's run a bit wide. Now, has he lost out the position to Kenyon Washington? I fear that might be the case. Wait until they... No, Alexander Klugel held on to that one. Oh my goodness, Alexander Klugel was a very, very lucky individual right there. He came harrying out of that midpoint chicane and the cart went sideways a little bit, I think. But he's managed to gap Kenyon Washington ever so slightly. Just under 5 minutes and 20 still to go on the clock, plus an additional lap. The gap between and Schulze ends to 0.372 seconds, but Schulze looks to be very, very quick through that first section on the circuit. It's a flowing left that goes round, and then it's like a miniature chicane, which you literally go flat straight through. That's very, very impressive indeed. And Nein Breitag closing in on Kenyon Washington. Nein Breitag went harrying over the bumps through on the right-hand side of the midpoint of the circuit, but Kenyon Washington kept it together, kept it defensive. The entire field covered by just over 1.8 seconds after just 2 laps. We're about to complete lap number 3. Girush is still leading. Schulze is trying to chase him down, but looks to be losing out a little bit here. 0.7 is the gap now between first and second position. So Schulze not having probably the pace that he wants, but what this is meaning is that the 3 behind, Kenyon Washington's just put in the fastest lap of the race, a 48.887 second lap time. He's gone quicker than anybody. He's even gone quicker than the leader. And also the driver behind, Nein Breitag. And there is Kenyon Washington. He's closing in on Alexander Klugel. And, what has happened to Nein Breitag? Nein Breitag, I've not seen just there because he might be a little bit further back. So what has happened to Nein Breitag? Has there been a technical issue for Nein Breitag? That's the biggest bone of contention. Imagine that if that is the case, So Giroux, yeah, at the moment, yeah, Nine Bretagne looks to be out. I think Nine Bretagne has ended up retiring from the race. On lap number 3, that was a disaster for him because he was right with Kenyon Washington. So the 4 drivers still in this race are covered by just under 1.5 seconds. Giroux leads, and there, look, oh my goodness me, Kenyon Washington. Yeah, so full course yellow. Full course yellow has just been called by the track. Full course yellow, so complete slow zone. This has neutralised the race, so I'm wondering if Nine Bretagne has had a significant incident. So, not had any confirmation on why that is, but Nine Bretagne hope is okay. It just goes to show when you're pushing like crazy, things can happen. So that is a full course yellow. Very, very good call by race control to decide that. So we may run to time. Yeah, Nine Bretagne. That is a retirement for the young man, I'm afraid. So on that particular perspective, what that means now is that these drivers will have to wait. And I think if it's as significant as it is, what that means is that we could be running to the end of time. So let's just see what race control decide. If they decide to go green with a minute to go, then we may have a couple of laps, maybe 2 to 3 laps remaining. We are on lap number 6. So we are still under full course yellow. So I would imagine they're going to run that to time. We do have a little bit of leeway just in case. Yeah, so I think they're going to do that until the end of the race. I think that's probably the better course of action. It was sizing up to be a really interesting race, wasn't it, folks? But obviously with incidents like that, you have to make the right decision, and credit to race control and race direction for making the choice. Now I wonder, are they going to just let them go? Because the thing is, if they let them go for a final lap, and the timer is ticking down, we are at 13 seconds to, yeah, they run it and right up until the end of time for this race, and I think that was the wise decision. So they are going to be, they are going to take the checkered under green flag conditions. So it will be David Giroux. Hang on a second. Right, gone green. It's the final lap, so it's the 1 lap sprint. And Matthias Schulte was right on the back bumper of David Giroux. So they've done it for a last lap sprint. This has really excited not just myself here in commentary, but I think it's really added a bit of a different dynamic to the race itself. But Giroux is hanging on as both Schulte and Klugel run wide over the bumps. But Giroux might have just held on. So in that respect, what I can see from this perspective is that these drivers now have an opportunity to, well, they would have had an opportunity. It seems like Giroux has held on and he's kept the win. So David Giroux has kept So David Giroux takes the victory and has now made sure that he's got the victory. So Jadush takes the win. Matthias Schulte in second. Kenyon Washington in third. Alexander Klugel in fourth. And Naim Tag